good. Let me just record as well. Never sure which one is better, to be honest. Okay.
All the note takers popping in on the meeting.
All the note takers what?
Popping in on the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I use mine because you can also download from it. I actually use it more than Google Meet. But yeah, I just admit it. Just with everybody. Did you get a chance to see the content calendar?
I did look through that.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Did
looks good.
you fill it out?
No,
Or
not
okay.
yet. No, I got to write a copy for it. That's on my to-do list, is actually get everything worked up and written out so that I can use it to its full potential.
Okay. Do you have any problems with it or just questions or anything like? Because it's very light. I left it that way, just to see how much writing you actually want to do. But I can also coach you on the writing as well, for it. Just like the formatting and everything as well. Because I know before we talked about it, you were writing kind of in blocks, and just having more of that spacing. But also even just like the stories that you're telling, because that's actually really what's most important, especially on the photo ones. And then obviously, like, we still have, because even the newest one that we did, I didn't pull anything from it. I've only pulled from the older ones as well. But have you had a chance to see like the videos that I've pulled also? Any comments on that?
I actually have not had a chance to sit and review the videos. So I know, I mean, I remember the conversations in context, but no, I actually haven't had a chance to sit down and go through them. I wanted to actually spend some time today creating content and reviewing them, and then I'll have more feedback for you on that.
Yeah, just let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know, because like I said, we don't really do people either, to be really honest. So I'm just kind of going at this from what I'm doing for myself and what I know for myself and what I've done before for other people also. I have done people before, but like the agency doesn't do it. So everything that you're seeing, I'm doing it. Like my team is not working on this. So
gotcha. Okay, so because that's right. Your model is set up for business pages, not personal pages at all. I talked about that.
At all. And also because you really need to learn the person. That's also why I got out of it. I did it for a little bit, but honestly, I realized very early on, I was like, no, like any person who is representing their company and they are the face of their company and they want to create content for themselves for their company, it's really, 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 really hard to do it. That's why I don't like doing it for other people, because they're just never happy.
Yeah.
Because you can't really get their tone of. That's why I didn't write for it, because that's like the hardest part for sure to get. But even just like the content itself, sometimes people are like, oh, like, I don't know, I'm picky about myself, so I get it, I understand, but it's not something that I really want to do. And so, but just be as honest with me as possible so I can like restructure it. But just know that everything that goes on here, I just do it in tandem with mine. So basically, when I'm pulling for myself, I pull for you, and then I just put this together really quickly. So it's very basic editing. It doesn't go to my team for editing or anything like that. It's like a very basic like structure. But I would still like to know your thoughts and everything, because I don't like to do anything half-assed. So it's like, if it's not what you want it to be, just tell me. I just know that you as a person is gonna be a lot pickier than a company page. So I'm okay for it. I'm prepared.
Okay, cool. No, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, and I'm gonna, like, I was gonna review the video copy and go, okay, then I can write copy around it, look at the photos. Obviously, the photos are kind of random anyway, so I've just got to decide whatever I want to talk about, and it's just a visual engagement for people. And do you remember the formatting that you talked about? Because I was writing traditional, if you could call it that, paragraphed style writing, and nobody on LinkedIn's doing that now. Everybody's like, catching headline. Now you have to scroll to see what the point is. Block, 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 all the way down. So that makes sense. So yeah, and that's the whole point of everything I'm going for, is just to, from this point forward, create engagement, create awareness. It's an awareness campaign for me. I'm not trying to drive a brand voice as much as I'm trying to drive something that people can resonate with and connect with, which essentially is a brand voice, but I'm using myself. I'm doing kind of blended crossover of personal branding and business branding, which I agree to your point is challenging because that's not typically how it's done, unless you're from a company structure. That's not typically how it's done. You create the company brand voice because you want to sell it as part of a whole. So I'm doing something of a hybrid model that I'm playing with. I'm actually working with a client and we're building out something very similar for him. I'm not in regards to content, but brand voice and personal branding and creating an entire ecosystem with his personal brand. And then everything under the personal brand is actually the product. He's written a book that he's getting ready to publish. He's got kind of a workshop that he is going to be launching, and then he's got specific client engagement through another platform. So it's essentially 3 products, 1 big brand, 2 sub companies, and a book. And so we're actually doing like a hierarchy of the overarching brand values, and then how do we carry those into this channel and that channel while keeping his personal brand foremost, because that's kind of what he's trying to sell at this point. So I'm not trying to do the same thing as he is, but it's just really interesting how that actually works out. To your point, is throwing, because he's working with a third-party company that is kind of essentially a dev team or an ops team. It's not an ops team. It's basically they've got like done for you services like web development and so on and so forth. So it's everything if you're a single operator that you don't have in-house, and it's throwing them for an absolute loop, which is interesting because we've actually come up with some really specific and articulated brand guides, and then they'll come back with something and we're like, you didn't follow the content at all. It's like you had an idea of what you wanted to do, and right down to we worked out colors and brand guides even that deep, and it's like font choice, color choice, tone of voice. Here's the written content. Here is the overall, like we were pretty thorough on the documentation, and they were like, here's your website. And he's like, hey, I need to get your feedback on this. And I was like, I had to ask him first and foremost, do you like this? And he's like, no, I hate it. I said, good, because this is not on point whatsoever. So it is an interesting mix to get, I'm just saying developers, but executors to bridge that gap when you are trying to create a personal brand. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Actually.
It's really, I would say the word interesting is a good choice of word, but I would also just say hard, to be really honest. Like I don't love doing them because it does get extremely picky. And as I said, I'm prepared for it with here, but it's just like, and I'm not doing the whole, like it's not like a done for you system also, which makes it harder if it's a done for you system.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a lot harder. And I mean, like not even by like a little harder. It's like I've tried everything. I've tried, I think, except for a full-blown e-commerce, like to where they're just mass producing, selling products. That's the only place that I never really touch and never really want to touch, because I also know what that environment is like. But honestly, outside of like a full e-commerce brand, the second hardest to create social content for are people, whether it's influencers, thought leaders, name it, like people. Like if it's one specific person, and everything that you are and everything that you represent is in that one specific thing, like you as a person, I wouldn't want to do it. Like I really wouldn't. Even Michael was like, he told me, he said, if I knew you did people, I would have hired you. I was like, I don't. Like I was so tired that day, and I misspoke on SEN, and he was like, oh, you did people. I was like, no. I said that so wrong. As soon as I said it, I was like, what was I saying? I was just so tired. This is around the time of my accident, and I was just like, yeah, like I don't even know why I went, probably because I've just missed so many days. Yeah, I had a fractured spine back in September or August.
I had no idea.
I didn't tell you that? Oh,
No,
yeah.
no clue.
I was climbing and I had I fell and I fractured my L1.
That's kind of a big deal.
It was my birthday month too, so that was fun.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So recovery, well, because that's not even, you said August? I mean, I guess we're a little ways from it.
Yeah. No, I've been doing PT exercises and everything, but I mean, they said it was like one of the best fractures you can have. I don't even know what that means.
Fractures you can get, yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like detrimental, I guess. Like for any fractured spine, that was like one of the best ones you can get. So it's like they said that recovery should be pretty straightforward. But yeah, like the first couple of months, it was hard. Like, I mean, I could barely brush my teeth because I couldn't even like move my head past like this. Like you couldn't like and so like I would just like always like and like I always told people like my alarm clock was like my pain. Basically like once it starts hurting, like when I'm asleep, that's it. Like you're awake and you can't do anything. Like you can't go back to sleep. You gotta get up. So I was just so sleep deprived and I did skip a few SCN meetings. But I said, you know what, like I can't just skip it completely because I didn't tell them. Nobody knew that I had a fractured spine. I just said I was in the hospital. And but I didn't know like the recovery or anything. And so I showed up for one and that was what I said. And I was just like, no, 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 I don't do that. I'm so tired right now. I don't even know what I'm saying.
This before.
I don't remember. But I think it was a little bit before. I think it was a little bit before. But also like I met you and then we kind of lost contact for a bit. And I think that was like my recovery period time. And then really after the second month, it started getting better. And it almost had to because it's like I was traveling at that time. And so I actually had to request a wheelchair assistance at the airport because it's like I literally like couldn't even lift. I had to like ask for help. Like, every time I had to go up the stair or anything, I was just like, I need help. I felt so helpless. Huh?
Were you in Mexico?
I was in Spain. I don't know if I still have you. I don't know if it's my internet or if it's your internet. You froze.
Did I freeze? Oh, wild. Still good. Yeah, great. Yeah, I had no idea. These are kind of a big
Thank
thing.
you.
And rock
It is.
climbing is.
I didn't realize how much.
Yeah,
So
it's just
good.
brutal. I've heard of people with rock climbing injuries. It's just, yeah. Actually, I know somebody that fell. My father-in-law, he fell rock climbing. I guess long time ago. He used to be a really avid rock climber, and something happened, and he had pretty much a free fall. He's
Oh
good
my
now.
gosh.
Yeah, it was a pretty severe hit, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I didn't know just how much your spine controlled things. That was one. I was like, oh, your spine really controls everything in your body because I couldn't do anything. And
As it turns out.
yeah, as it turns out, right? But no, like I didn't tell anybody. I didn't want. I did tell people after I got better. I said, I'm really sorry I've ignored you this whole time. I had a spinal fracture injury. Because I really just ignored everybody. I was barely messaging anybody back. And I basically said client work and that's it. Like whatever client work I had to do, that was pretty much the bulk of it. But honestly, I relied a lot on my team also, and I reduced everything that I did. So yeah. But it survived, which is good, which is actually our topic today, is what it's like to be a business owner. So that's
Doing it alone. Yep, that was the title.
yeah, exactly. And I was very alone. I was alone at the hospital. I was so alone. I mean, I had my team, thank God. I called them when I was in the ambulance. And I just said, I'm not attending the meetings, cancel all my meetings for this week. And that's
Just
it.
fell off the cliff. No big deal, but I'm gonna need to reschedule all my meetings.
Well, it was inside. It was indoors, but it's without
Oh, it was
rope.
a climbing gym.
Yeah, but it's without rope. So basically, I just fell completely incorrectly. That was pretty much it.
Didn't know there. I mean, I knew there was like bouldering gyms. I didn't know there was free climbing rock wall gyms.
It was a bouldering, like it was bouldering. It was
Mm,
a bouldering thing. But I say rock climbing because most people don't know what bouldering is.
gotcha. I just don't like unless I'm harnessed in and I know it's secure. Me and heights, we just don't do that. It's not a thing.
Yeah, I'm
When I got
having to find
my-
rope gyms right now. But I haven't really climbed either. I'm still recovering from it, which really sucks. But we'll be better next year.
Again, yeah.
Yeah,
The
but
the
it
bounce
does,
back.
huh?
The bounce back.
Yeah, but it does segue really well into our topic. But I do want to go back to the content calendar and the the banner later before we go. But it does segue really well to our topic because I think like doing it alone and feeling alone and being alone when you are an entrepreneur, it definitely like honestly it was probably because I mean I couldn't really tell my team either. Like they knew, but I didn't want them to know like how much pain you're in or whatever. Like maybe I should have told them a little bit more, but it's just like I said, I didn't even tell SCN. And so it's like, I think sometimes as business owners, we think that we have to do everything, but it's actually good if you tell people what's happening in your life sometimes.
I think, and I've actually been kind of running into this, and I talk a lot about this subject in general, but I think it's become kind of a culture norm and expectation, like that you have to be self-made. I was actually just having a conversation along these lines literally yesterday, that there's so much ego in not wanting to admit that you take advantage of some tool. Like we're always looking for an edge and some tools and some shortcuts. That seems to be like the life hacking movement that got really big in the early 2000s. Like life hack everything. It's like, okay, I'm not for that because that went too far the other direction. Because then it was just how can we just avoid doing whatever we need to do, right? But I feel like for as many tools and everything that there's out there now, especially in the midst of this AI boom, there's this huge ego element of I've got to be self-made. I have to be strong. I have to be independent. I have to have the answers. I have to have it together. I have to give the public persona that I have it all together and that it was easy. And it's really not helping anybody get further. It's like if you look into the internet, that's the echo that you get back. And there's some big names out there pushing it really hard. And granted, they're successful. I'm not even saying that they're successful, but I look at those stories, and I'm trying to avoid using real names.
Right.
But they get on and they have the videos that are like, here's what entrepreneurs aren't willing to face and what they don't want to talk about, and sacrifice your time, sacrifice. And it's like, okay, that's kind of a different angle because they're not trying to make it sound like it was easy, but they're still not telling anybody anything. And so then you just kind of get into this self-shame spiral of I'm doing it alone, and not only that, I'm doing it wrong, and I'm behind, and I gotta hustle her, and and it's just it's not productive. And so I think if there's tools out there or if there's resources out there, why is it such a independent culture that we can't say, yeah, I'm collaborating, I'm using a resource or the things that I need to do to help achieve the goal. We don't commend people for that. We're just like, oh well, you used a shortcut. It's like doesn't everybody want something that they can do so that they're making the process just a little bit easier or more effective, I should say. Maybe easier isn't even the right term, but more effective. Yeah, it's really interesting. There's definitely a stigma around entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I think you said a few things. One, I do agree with the word ego, but I also don't know if I would use the word ego because you said another word, which I think I would lean a little bit heavier on, which I think is the culture that we've built as like independent, like especially like as Americans. I think there's just something about, oh, like it's me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
And it sounds really mean, but Americans are very, very much, I think, very self everything. And I think like not to like every extent, I would say, but there is something to that. And I do think you're right also that like a lot of people push, like a lot of influencers, I guess that's the word I would use for them, is influencers or like people who can just really influence people at a very big range, right? I think you're right in the sense of, because even for me, it's like if I don't work you know, like if I'm not working on my business at every single hour of the day, they make you almost feel bad.
Mhm.
They're like, how can you like live your life? Like, why aren't you giving up everything to build this thing?
Yeah,
And I think there's some merit to that to some extent. Like I think if you want to be a billionaire, right, and you want to build, like you can't build a spaceship company and prioritize your family first. It's just to, to me, I think
really,
it's
really broad example there.
yeah. But you get what I mean. There's just some things that yes, you need to put everything that you can if you want to build something big, right? Even let's say like Walt Disney, right? Like I'm sure he never took breaks. He worked all the time because to build an entire different world, to build a theme park, to build everything that you want to build, you do have to put everything that you should into it. But these are also like trillion, billion-dollar companies that not like every single person in the world is gonna aim for.
No, no, no. It's okay. So I feel like you've actually touched on a really important topic, and it's the perspective, it's the stage of life, and the variation of goals. We don't have that, and even um, my life is in a different place than it was 15 years ago, right? 10 years ago, still a different place. 10 years ago, I was in the thick of a lot of things with personal life and aspect, and good things. But if I was devoting everything I could into my business, then my personal life suffers, right? And there's certain things in timelines that you don't get back. And so for me, it was like, what was the priority then? I was not all about just spend it and send it, right? Because it was about having that livability and that balance. Now I'm in a different season in my life. It's a little more about put it into the business, put it into what I'm doing because I've got a little bit more time to do it. I've got a little bit more focus and dedication for that. You know, I'm still not trying to send rockets into space, but my own my own frontiers, my own goals that now better align with that because you grow as a person. I um, heard a statistic that every 7 years biologically we change. Our tastes
Mm.
change, our perspectives change. Like foods you didn't like 7 years ago, you all of a sudden you're like, I really like this. You're like, I hated these 7 years ago. What, you know, I don't know, Brussels sprouts, onions, um, whatever it is. Like everybody's got a
I
different
don't
opinion on food.
I don't think anyone likes Brussels sprouts. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, they're done right. They're pretty delicious. But
Really? Okay.
yeah,
Maybe in 7 years.
yeah, trick to it. There's a trick to it. But even still, you eat too many of them, then it's like, but yeah, I don't want to say I've cracked the code, but feel like I make pretty good Brussels sprouts.
Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you with Brussels sprouts.
Candid. Um, but so we look at somebody like a person who's building rockets, right? We compare ourselves to Elon Musk. Like, let's send rockets to space. Let's have self-driving cars. Let's. At one point, when he was still headquartered in Southern California, he was like, "Traffic's terrible. I'm just going to tunnel under the city and create a transit system directly for my company." And he was like figuring out how to make that happen. I don't think that ever happened. I have no idea. But we're like, not everybody's playing on that level, right? So to
Right.
say that I have the resources and the wherewithal and the same goals, and so I compare myself, that doesn't work, right? So I am a big advocate of knowing what you're trying to do. Identify what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it. And you've heard me say this a lot. What are you trying to do and why does that matter to you? Why are you trying to do this? What are the outcomes you're looking for? You know, and if you can scope that back into perspective, then you can start to build something to scale that works for you. I'm not saying don't be ambitious,
Right.
but we have such a shame culture around, like you mentioned, like, oh, I'm not spending every waking hour on my business. I don't even think that's advisable. Like there are times
Yeah.
you have to push, but I'm not sharp at that point. If I spend 12 hours working, it's like, good luck. Hour 13 is just going to be absolute trash output from me.
Right.
Not going to be anything that's beneficial to my business or potentially anybody I'm working with. So I don't know. I think there's a balance because there's this hustle culture and look what I did it all on my own. I literally watched the video the other day. Shouldn't say watch because I couldn't watch the whole thing, but it was somebody talking about their first month in business, and they made a $30,000 month as a solopreneur in their first 30 days, and they did it all themselves. And oh, but it was so hard, and the thing was so scripted and so cheesy. I was like, you cannot be seriously telling people this and expecting this to hit well. And I'm again, now I'm shaming, right? Shaming this person. But I'm like, no, you don't just decide I have a business now and figure out how to make $1,000 a day as a solopreneur who just started a brand new business. It's not likely. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's not likely. And then it was just this, I did everything. I did the admin. I did the content creation. I shot the video. I did this. I did the product. I did the work. I did it. And exactly to your point, it's just me, I, me. I'm not into any of this. Because all I've heard about so far is just you and how cool you look and how much money you made your first month, which I don't for a second believe it. I just don't. I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, there is the hustle culture, and don't get me wrong. I mean, it could be true as well. But I don't think that's the point. I think the point to it is the fact that, like, even if he was able to do that, the way to replicate it is not as easy as you think. And so it's like, I think you get promised things by these people, whether or not they're lying or whether or not they just happen to have hit something that just happened to have worked. Or they're hiding their story behind the scenes. So it's like they've failed at this business, failed at this business, failed at this business, failed at this business, and then they hit this business, and then they're only telling that story, right? So whatever the narrative is, I think the point to it is the fact that, like, they make people believe that it's that easy when it's really not. And I think one of the things also, since we talked about hustle culture, which is really big in the US, right? Like, hustle culture is almost like you work every day, you work every waking hour. I mean, even like, because at some point it's like, okay, like, how do you save time? But then, like, I was burning out so much that the time that I was saving was being spent on recovery. And so it's like, where is the balance there, right? But the other thing is, I know you're not naming people, but I have no problem naming people. Gary Vayner, I love him. I think he's great. I think he gives a lot of good advice. But the one thing that I really disagree with him on, the one thing I disagree with him on is literally, like, post a gajillion times in a single day. I mean, he says like 7 to 8 times in a day, minimum 4 kind of thing. And I'm just like, that is insane. Like, you'll have no life, you will burn out. He has a huge team behind him. And even when he was starting without a team, he didn't sleep. He worked his ass off. Right, like, he just went and went and went and went. But the thing is, you know, with that, it's like, I know how hard it is to create content. I know how much time it takes to create content. And if you're giving people that advice, it's not sustainable at all. He's a unicorn in and of itself. And the thing is, even if, like, look at how much work he's putting into everything, then even just like, right, like, a lot. And even just like I guess, like, let me compare him and, let's say, Warren Buffett, right? Like, it's like, this is a personal opinion, obviously, but it's like, Warren Buffett is a billionaire, but a lot of things that he does are investing. A lot of the things that he does are more based on really smart work. It's not as heavy. Like, it's like, I feel like Warren Buffett is like the one place that you can go to that all of these influencers that are saying, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to eat healthy, you need to go to the gym. Like, Warren Buffett eats McDonald's every day for breakfast. He does not go, I believe, to the gym. He's old as fuck. Like, he's literally like, him and Charlie Munger are gonna live up to, like, they're almost like, you know, Charlie Munger lives to almost to 100. Warren Buffett is almost 100. And they eat like shit too. And they really don't work. Like, even before, it's like Warren Buffett read a lot. Like, he invested in the right things. He did things. He also is famous for saying, it's either him or Charlie Munger is famous for saying, it doesn't matter how hard you row, it matters what boat you're on. And so it's like, if you compare that to post 8 times a day, if you're not doing this, if you're not doing that, if you're not working every hour of every day, if you don't eat healthy, if you don't go to the gym, if you don't do this, you're a failure. It's like
Yeah.
there is a better track. Like there is a different track. There's many ways that you can achieve your goals based off of what it is that you want to be as well. And so I think, I think everybody thinks that there's just this one or the other way, but it's just like, yeah, like, do you really have to eat healthy to live a long life? Not really. Like there's it's been scientifically proven that you can eat like shit and eat Coke and or drink Coke and eat McDonald's every day and still live to almost 100 and be a fucking billionaire. So
Literally, there was another investor, and I can't remember his name, but he was the guy. He's the guy that the book, the Secrets of the Turtle Trading, was based on. Same kind of thing. He figured out the stock market and how to trade commodities first, and was doing that, and then figured out a system, and then figured out, hey, I can train people to do this. And he became arguably one of the richest independent traders in the beginning of his career, even to the point where he got investigated because they were like, hey, you're so big, you have market pull to the point that you're manipulating the market. And so they were trying to pin him on that. And then they realized, like, he's just good. He wasn't doing anything wrong. But he didn't update his wardrobe. He didn't exercise. He got a gym membership or something. It was like they put a home gym in his apartment because they're like, dude, you got to exercise. And he's like, yeah, I like to walk by and pat the weights every now and again. I don't pick them up. He's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna do that. And I don't know how long he lived. I have no idea. Like, he wasn't described as a picture of health, but at the same time, to your point, like, it didn't matter, right? And now what we hear in regards to hustle culture, because people are like, you got to be healthy, you got to take care of your mind, you got to take care of your body, or you're not going to be successful, right? All I hear in that, and I'm not saying that's bad advice, but all I hear in that is like, shame, 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 shame. I was listening to a podcast, and she was like, when you're in the depths of it, like, you're in the struggle, like, things are not working out. Somebody say, hey, I have the answer. It's, you got to get up at 4 a.m. You got to make sure that you've done, whatever your meditation is by 4:30, and then you better be in the gym until 6:30. And then once you've done that, then you better take your ice bath, and then you better make your gourmet breakfast full of all of the health foods that are supposed to be the best thing in the world. And then you better be, ready to work by 8 a.m. And
that's
you're not
really
going to see
late.
this.
8 a.m. is late. Like, you should be working at 7.
I know, right? I guess I gave too much time to make breakfast. You're supposed to make a gourmet meal in like 20 minutes or something. But you better like have the cow or the goat that you're milking for whatever goes in your fresh latte like on site, because don't buy it, because that's going to shame you too. Don't buy prepackaged. And they were just talking about how toxic that is, because they're like, somebody who's just struggling in the arena of like, no, I just got to get up. Like, I got to get up and I got to take a shower and I got to brush my teeth and put one foot in front of the other because I'm that low. Telling them to, go out and harvest their wheatgrass and milk the goat so they can make their latte and whatever they're going to do at 4 a.m. It's like, that's so damaging to a person. And then to be like, well, I'm not successful because I can't figure out how to do all of that because I'm lucky I got up and took a shower and got my day started. This and that. Because you get burnt out. And so nobody's talking about that side of it. Nobody's talking about the 1,000 decisions you make as a business owner. Nobody's talking about the brain fog. It's just be successful. Like, oh, you haven't decided to flip that switch? Why didn't you turn on the light yet? Huh, well, we're all over here having a great time and all our money because we just decided to walk over and flip the switch. It's like, that's not how life works. And they didn't. Yeah. So I'm not saying that everybody's not independently successful. There are those that are. Gary Vee, I actually really appreciate his stance. Early on, when he started, he was just like, sacrifice, 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 sacrifice. And I was like, this is not for me. I was like, maybe he's wildly successful like this guy is, and I'm actually kind of tired about like being yelled at. Now I actually really like him. He's actually one of my favorite made it.
He's good. He's good.
I love what he has to say. And he's even admitted that. He's like, you know what? Everybody has different goals. He's like, mine was to own, what was it, the Celtics? I don't remember what team he was trying to own.
Yeah, the Jets, I think. I don't remember. Something.
Jets could be. Sounds right.
Could be something.
Whatever professionals, we should know more. I know more. But his point was, that's my ridiculous goal. I think that was actually his words. Like, that's my absurd goal. That's my event. I have this to prove in my own life. He's like, that doesn't have to be yours. He's like, if you're the person that says, I want to wake up and make a cool 150K a year and have like a fantastic work-life balance where I am like available to my family, but our bills are covered and I'm good there. He's like, I'm all in. He goes, 100%, I'm in. Let's get you there. Let's do that. And that really resonated with me. That says a lot to me because that actually acknowledges the humanity aspect where nobody else is. You've got, this is a really mixed opinion. Why don't we just throw names out there? Where you've got Alex Hormozy that is like talking about a lot of stuff, and he's kind of the big discipline guy. And I don't know a lot of his stuff actually. I don't follow him real closely. Looking at what he's done company wise and financially and a lot of things, and I'm like, maybe you're not even disputing whether he's right or wrong. But I'm like, the average solopreneur or somebody starting out in their early 20s, early 30s, early 40s, or reinventing yourself in your early 50s, unless you've had several successful exits and built to that magnitude and have those resources, we're not speaking the same language. There's probably wisdom that can be translated, but it's not apples to apples. And I think we totally lose sight of that in especially American culture with this whole just be successful. Oh, you're not successful? Oh, well, what are you not sacrificing? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, even the
sacrifice.
Well, even the sacrifice part, because that's something that I wanted to cover with you, even the sacrifice part, right? Like they also tend to overlook talking about the sacrifice part of things in terms of not just like you're sacrificing your days, your hours, your times, but I think also the hardships of it all, like the hardship of like not just like, okay, I'm giving up time for my family, I'm giving up time for food. I haven't eaten. That's different. Like I think that's the sacrifice that they're talking about. But nobody talks about, you said a while ago the thousands of decisions you have to make every day.
Yeah.
Like nobody really talks about like the decision fatigue. Like nobody which is like it doesn't sound like it's a lot, but honestly, like in my personal life, people will ask like, what table do you want to sit in at a restaurant? I'm like, please pick, because I literally like I make so many decisions for my life in general and traveling, but also even just like in my business, right? Like all of the decisions in my business, a lot of it come through me as well. And so it's like I've already made so many decisions, like I don't want to have to decide where to sit and where to go for it. Like pick it, we'll go there and just choose it for me because I'm so tired. And nobody talks about, I think you already know, and everybody knows, like my second year really was a plateau. I think nobody talks about like that plateau. And like nobody talks about like it sucks. Like a lot of people say it sucks in the beginning, but actually my beginning was great. Like you like, don't get me wrong, like the beginning, everything that Guru's taught me, right? Like charge over $2,000 a month for your service, land these clients, like these are the types of clients that you want. And the thing is I did them, but the thing is like the second year is when you figure out, it's like, oh shit, like if you lose a $2,000 a month clients, it's a pretty big hit. If you grow your team because you're starting to land these clients that needs to be taken care of in the same way you're taking care of them, like as one or two people, it's a different set of problems. And so nobody talks about those roadblocks that you hit, not on your first year, not on your beginning times, but in your second year. I'm sure I'm gonna hit one, like maybe in my fifth year, like when I'm opening the nonprofit or even as I'm scaling my team, right? Like nobody talks about like those things that you need to hit to be able to get to where they're at, to where the people that are telling you what success really means. And that's why, like for me, I really respect people who say, I'm gonna get up to this level and this is where I want to be, because I know that this is the capacity that I'm capable of. And just because you don't want to be in the millions, right? Like some people are like, oh, well, why don't you want to make like over $1 million a year? Where there's a lot of headaches that come with owning a company that has $1 million a year, where you expand your team and you expand your operations and you expand everything. And I think, like almost everybody that talks to you, it's like success, success, success. Why aren't you doing these things to be successful? Why do you want to be stuck? like it's not an option to not be a millionaire. like why is it not an option to be happy making, I don't know, like a $300,000 business where maybe it's a lifestyle business and you're doing great, right? Like why is it so unacceptable to go that route? Why is it that the number is always what we're striving for? And I think, why is it also so hard for people to talk? Why is there so much shame in saying, okay, in the second year, guess what? We didn't grow at all. We added zero revenue. We added 2 clients. We lost both clients.
Yeah.
In that year, you know, and but like nobody says that. Like in our second year, literally we added 2 clients, we lost both clients, and that was it. Like the rest, I was focusing on the internal processes, so getting my team set up, because we were also hiring the wrong people. So we were hiring the wrong people, we were firing so much, we were using all of our resources to try and figure out what hiring really means. I was looking for a mentor in my second year just because it was so bad. But the thing is, like, nobody really wants to mentor you if you're a failure. Like, nobody wants to mentor you if like you're not doing great, like you're in your failure stage. Like, no one's gonna be like, oh yeah, like let me bring you out of that, you know. So it's like, maybe there would have been, but most of the people that I've met since then are when I also felt good. Like honestly, SEN came in our third year when we started going uphill again. And so even now, most of the partnerships and connections that I've made are from when we felt good, but when we started feeling good again. Because you also don't want to open up and say, you know what, like, our second year is so shit. Like, our second year is just like, okay, we hired the right people, or we hired the wrong people. We had to fire them, which didn't feel good. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel good to let people go. Like, it doesn't feel good
No.
to say, you know what, I'm sorry, we hired incorrectly, whether or not it's their fault or our fault. But it's just like, okay, like, we're still figuring it out. And so I'm sorry, like, you don't have a job, or, you know, it's like all of these things that come with the hardest part of entrepreneurship that doesn't come in the beginning. Like, in the beginning, my first 2 clients were worth over $2,000 a month, both of them. Like that was so easy. You know, it was like, okay, I could have talked about that, but no, like, our second year was so shit because I wanted to grow. I could have stopped at 2 clients. I mean, a lifestyle business, like, I didn't even have to hire anybody. I could have served those clients for less than 20 hours a week. 2 clients, $4,000. It was actually almost $5,000 a month. I'm living a good life. That's it, right? But I didn't want that, and I could have bragged about that to anybody that like just wants like a lifestyle thing, or like, how can I get to even where you're at? Because some people don't know how to even get there. Sure, but the thing is, like, it's not what I wanted either. And I think even getting to that point, so if I focused on that one specific aspect of my story, it sounds good, right? Like, it sounds good, but then it was all of the freelancing that I did before that was so shit. Also,
Yeah.
that led to those 2 clients. That was when I started the agency and started getting clear on things.
All the projects that you take on, you're like, yeah, I can do that. I've done a lot of fractional work before I just decided to call it what it is. And it's like, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. And I'm working on projects where, looking back, it's like, yeah, I did a good job, arguably most of the time. But it's also, I had no business working on that. Just because I pulled it off doesn't mean that that was the most effective use of my time. But you do these things to learn, right? And so we don't want to, you brought up several really good points. One being, we don't want to talk about it. We are scared to death to open our mouth and admit the truth because we don't know what's going to happen. Oh no, we're going to send the wrong message out there, and then nobody's going to work with us because we're who's trying to figure it out and learn life's lessons. It's like there's everybody's like, well, yeah, there's a manual that goes with business. No, there's not. There's basic principles, and there's people who have done things successful, and there's a lot of wisdom out there that you can go find. But if you don't know how to apply it, and if it doesn't directly apply to your circumstances, then you got to figure out how to adopt it and adapt it to what you're doing. And that is not an easy challenge. And so people are like, well, yeah, you go do this, this, and this. It's like, let's talk about decades in America. 1950s America, the Industrial Revolution, 1960s America. The wheels were coming off, but it was arguably an insanely prosperous time for the country. 70s, stocks, everything else, like the market was doing what it was doing. The 80s economy, we talk about the recessions, except that decade in business, it's like you could almost throw a rock in any direction and be successful. And it was so traditional, like hang out your shingle, like this is what we're doing. This is my sign. I printed up some business cards. I paid the phone service, and now we're in the, what is it, the yellow pages back then. Those were the
Yeah.
elements of marketing. If you didn't want to be incredibly competitive, and you know what, the phone rang, stuff happened. Like statistically, if you look back at those case studies, and so somebody that came up in that era of business, now to tell somebody, you know, maybe they're some of them are still not retired, but somebody in that space would tell somebody starting out now, like, oh, well, you just do this, this, and this. It's like not the same world. We literally do not live in the same universe. You can't just say, well, yeah, you go get a sign made and you go take out an ad in the paper. It's like newspapers are struggling because people don't even read them anymore. Everything's online. Okay, so you take out an online ad. Okay, well, that's a whole other world, right? Everything snowballs into something else. But we don't want to talk about what it really is. We always just want to talk about what somebody's not doing. Kind of like you had mentioned, oh, well, why don't you want to make $1 million? Like, maybe I want to make $300,000 net, my personal income, and live a really good life and travel. Like, this is the experience I want to have at this point in my life. And that's my baseline for, like, that's forget you money. Like, I'm cool. I'm good. But we don't talk about that as a win. We go, oh, why didn't you make $1 million?
Yeah.
You left 700,000 on the table. Why? It's like, what? Or why didn't you grow in your second year? You were so successful in your first year. When did we forget the statistic that most startups aren't profitable until year 5?
Mm-hmm.
That's just economics 101 when they still school. That most startups and companies are not profitable until year 5 if they're lucky. That was just like the understood that you probably will go under in your first 5 years if you're not careful. But now we're just like, well, why aren't you? Where's your Ferrari? And one of the, like, Gary Vee was talking about, somebody was like, yeah, whatever, boo. I got it my Ferrari, and he was like, yeah, okay, well, I'd rather smile in my Toyota. And he's like, you don't know what pain actually looks like, you dick. And I was like, that's fair. I love that.
I love him. I love how honest he is, to be really honest with you.
Just that whole, like, yeah, I'll cry about it in my Ferrari. He's like, I'd rather smile in my Toyota. Like, let's put it in perspective here. And I'm like, so fair. Why have we forgotten that? Not only that, we're running around competing with each other. Like, if I tip my hand, you're going to take something from my business. You and I are having these conversations because we want to collaborate. We're not in the same space. We might have some strategy overlap where we advise clients on some things, but we're not in the same space. We're not even gunning for the same, well, we are gunning for the same clients, but not in the same way whatsoever. We're not competing with each other. So,
I think I lost you. 1 second. 1 second. I think I lost you.
like,
Hold on. I lost you. You're breaking up.
yeah, all the note takers just totally phased out. I don't know if it's the internet or yours. Did you get your internet fixed?
Yeah, I did. It might be on your end, but let's see.
I'm gonna switch networks. I will be so excited when I can get on a stable connection.
So what I did, I don't know when you're coming back to the US, but I bought a USB-C. So this is also something they don't talk about, right? Like internet, like things that you have to do to fix it. But I bought a USB-C connector to a Ethernet cord connector, so it's directly plugged in. I bought a 40-foot cord one because that's why it took so long. Because before I would have to go there because our router is so far. But yeah, like it's just directly plugged in now, so it's getting the internet directly. And I'm actually gonna buy a 10-foot one to bring into with my travels, so that if I have like a very important call, I can just plug in if I need to, if just in case it's doing basically what it's doing right now.
Well, you know, that brings up a good point too, because people talk about, you know, everybody's like quick to judge what it is and assume that you just don't know. You travel, right? You're in a different country a lot. I travel. I've been moving around countries, and not only that, I travel around. I've for years traveled around the U.S. With my family. And the other assumption is, oh, you're just on one big vacation. It's like, do you know? Like, don't get me wrong. I am very grateful for the experiences that I've been able to have, provide for my kids. You know, that my wife and I have experienced, but they're like, man, what's it like being on one big vacation? I'm like, my life takes so much more planning just to get through a day. You have no idea. And it sounds whiny to say that, but it's not like, if I want to go see, like we like to hit a lot of the national parks when we're traveling. So people are like, oh, that's amazing. I wish I could do that. I'm like, it really is. Like, I have to acknowledge that point. It really is amazing. I remember a time just being camped up in Sequoia National Forest. Beautiful, right? Internet is a challenge there. I
I was
will
gonna
tell
say.
you right now. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
So, I was rocking my Starlink. Great. But there's trees everywhere. So what am I doing? Like, I am making sure that my business doesn't suffer so that I can have the experience. And most people aren't like, is my internet going to work today unless your router goes down or something weird happens or the power goes out or whatever. Right? You're not really thinking of these day-to-day things like the logistics of, is the internet going to be there today?
Mhm. Yeah.
Meetings, can I hit my deadlines? I've got projects I got to work on. Power, and I'm not complaining because I chose that lifestyle.
Mhm.
But we don't talk about individual goals. And so it's like, we'll just do this. It's like, anybody that says, we'll just do this. No. So I think having a space where we can talk about it and collaborate on things is so valuable for business owners. And not even because we're just looking for people to give us advice. Collaboration is not, tell me what to do, I'm going to go do it. It's, I need to run something by you. I want to get some insight on this. I need to get some perspective and some clarity. What's worked for you in your business? What have you run into? Have you ever had a scenario where this, and this happened? We don't talk about the value of that. I am all about that. I am that, like, that's the basis for what I do. I had an interaction with somebody that was like, yeah, I have all of those answers. And I was like, oh, cool, that sounds great. They were charging an astronomical amount of money to get it. And I was like, okay, maybe you're legit. I hope you are. You probably are. They had a 10x, so they're fairly legit. But I was like, you've actually just limited the barrier of success too. I want that person to be successful. I'm not saying they should give their product away for free. I mean, this is what I do for a living. I collaborate and work with business owners to help them get where they're going. But it also has to be understandable and reasonable, and you have to be able to meet them at a point where they're at. And why can't we collaborate and talk about it? That's one thing that I've really learned. And even as I do this as a profession, on the strategy piece of things and helping people with their ops or their clarity and identity and whatever and whoever and however, sometimes they don't even want to talk to me. Like, it'll take a few weeks in an engagement before they're like, okay, well, this isn't working at all. Like, this is what's really going on in my business. And I've gotten pretty good at asking those questions because I'm like, okay, I know that there's symptoms. Like, we're not going to treat the symptom because there's perspective we just don't get because we're in our head every day. Like you said, I don't care where I sit in a restaurant, just pick it, because I've had to make 1,000 decisions today alone. And not only the 1,000 decisions, I've had to deal with a lot of setbacks or fires that pop up or, proactive, carrying a lot of weight and coordinating. And maybe it's not even bad things. It's just there's a lot in a day and we don't talk about that as business owners. And so we lose that clarity. And then we usually ask the question mentally, whether we say it out loud and admit it or not. We're like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? Why am I not getting where they're getting, what they're doing?
Yes.
Why am I not sending rockets to space? Why am I not crying in my Ferrari? Why am I crying in my Toyota? What's wrong with me?
Oh gosh.
Gary Vee says I'm always smiling in my Toyota, which I like most of Gary Vee's perspectives. You never agree 100% with somebody, but if there's one of the big names out there that I'm like, okay, his stuff's actually really good, he's probably it. But yeah, we don't talk about the times we're crying in our car.
In our Toyota. In our beat up old car.
Crying in our Toyota. Like,
no offense to Toyota.
We all got to keep up this persona.
But no, I agree with you, and I will agree with Gary Vayner. I like I said, I love all of his stuff. The only thing I don't, and he has changed a lot of. You're right, he has softened up a lot of the things that he said. It's just more he says still that if you really want to be successful, you should still post 8 times a day, which I still don't agree with. But other than that, I do agree with a lot of things. I think what I love about him is he's just so straightforward. Like, I love that he just shows his personality, which I think as business owners we're so afraid to do as well. It's like a lot of people think I'm like super sweet and like super. I curse in front of my team. It's like like.
You're not super sweet.
Yeah, like I don't know. I
You don't
just
know me. I'm a little word for.
right. No, I mean, like one of the things in our brand guideline, because I actually ran this by my brand person, and I don't know if I've told you this, is like gives a shit. Like it actually says it on there, like someone who gives a
Yeah.
shit. Like, and I love Gary Vayner for that. But I do want to emphasize something that you said as well, which I think a lot of people are, we've thrown around the word shame a lot today. And I think there's so much
Yeah.
truth in that. Like, it's like for me to say that we didn't grow in our second year is really hard considering if you compare that to our first two clients, it's a very, very stark contrast, right? It's a
Hmm.
very stark contrast to I landed our first couple of clients, they were, great, blah, 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 to like, okay, we were actually struggling. And, you talked about like, I just need to get out of bed and then just like say, like having these questions also of like saying, what is wrong with me? Why is this not working? Why is this not working? And in that second year, that was pretty much every question that I asked myself. And that's why I cried so much. And I'm not exaggerating when I said our second year, I just cried. I remembered being in Albania, and that was the month that I said, I'm going to really push for everything. Like I'm going to make our process right, make our systems right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we hired so many people that we fired probably within the next few weeks because it was just like, okay, like that system wasn't working. Okay, let's try something else. Okay, let's
Yeah.
try a different CRM. That's not working. Let's try something else. My team hates me right now. I'm pretty sure of it because I'm changing everything also. And then the person that's doing the hiring, she also does other things. It's not like she only does hiring. And so it's like that was taking so much time away from her. And so that wasn't working either. And it's just like, I think we're just so afraid to say that like it didn't work. Like I tried so many things, it didn't work. Here are the
Mhm.
specific things. I think some people will say, like, Alex Hermosa is very famous for saying, oh, I slept on the floor when I first started my gym. And he does go through his path, his story a little bit more than others probably. Like even Elon
Mhm.
Musk, I slept on the couch and I never really, he showered in the office kind of thing. But I think like no one talks about like the intimate details of it all, of just, like really actually just saying like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm crying probably every other day. And thinking the same things that you've said, which is like, why is it not working? Why does it feel like I'm failing at this? Why are we stuck when in our first year we kept growing? And I didn't understand what was wrong. Like, I didn't understand, like, as a person, as a solo business owner, right? Like, I didn't understand what I was doing wrong as to like why we were able to grow in our first year and then not the second year. And I didn't know where to invest the money. Like I think
Mhm.
people also like don't realize just how much, like I invested in sales and marketing with like 3 different people or agencies or whatever. It didn't work, right? It didn't work. It's either a clash of
Mm. Yeah.
like, yeah. And so it's like even finding people like you, it's like, where could I have found these people? Like, because I mean, I was investing in the wrong things and that made me feel even worse because it's just like, okay, like now I'm just burning money because the investments that I'm making are not working. So I think there's a merit to
No, it's
say,
true.
yeah, like, how do you find people that will help you? How do you find those people too when you are at your lowest and you're really just trying to figure everything out on your own and you don't know where to turn to.
You're just supposed to buck up and be successful. Grace, like that's the answer. Didn't you read the internet? That's what it says.
I know I
Just
did
go
that.
be successful.
And don't get me
No, is
wrong.
you bring up a really interesting point too.
Good.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, you bring up a really interesting point too, and what I've realized, especially lately, and I'm going off on this, which what don't I go off on? But it's that the landscape of business has become so convoluted too, and I don't just mean that like business is hard and it's complicated. Okay, that's obvious and that's a given. But I was just having a really cool conversation last week, and I'm like, okay, look, I break business up into 4 sections now. There's nuances in every, and some of those overlap, and that's fine. But there's the identity piece, who you are, what your brand is, what you sell, what you do, what your promise is to the outward public, right? So the identity piece, the brand, we'll just call it the brand piece. right? And the brand piece has to connect to your marketing. Your marketing is now making everybody aware of that. It's communicating. It's transactional in that sense. Like, hey, this is who we are. Meet who we are. Oh, you like who we are? Okay, meet the next phase, which is sales, right? So now your marketing and your sales have to talk to each other. Sales has to be able to articulate what marketing promised existed, and then basically onboard the client and bring them into the ecosystem of saying, great, let's make this transaction. Let's get you on board. Let's bring you into our world, or bring us into your world, however it transacts, right? And then you've got operations, and sales and operations have to directly connect. And so operations has to kick up, and it goes full circle, because operations now has to deliver on what you said your identity and your brand promise is, right? And so those are 4 sections in business that are absolutely having to talk to each other in sequence. And most of the time we've got sales and marketing doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing promised that, sales is like, we can't deliver that. That's not even something we can do. And you've sent us all these leads and now it doesn't work, right? So, and same with marketing. It's like, we're just gonna say all the right things. Just get me out there and say, and you run into this a lot, I'm sure. Well, just optimize my website or increase my traffic flow. Like, I know you don't do web dev, but it's like, just increase my traffic flow through my socials. Make us more relevant. You're like, make who is us that I'm making more relevant? Because if you're not clear on who you are in that identity piece. So when I say that I work in ops and identity, because clarity makes you effective, right? You've got to have marketing. But everybody's like, spend more on marketing. Like you were talking about, like, I spent a ton on marketing. Everybody's like, oh, it's a marketing problem. Spend more on marketing. It's like, you don't actually know it's a marketing problem. Let's dig into what's really going on. So we run around treating symptoms. Like, I'm going to spend more on paid ads. I'm going to spend more on marketing. I'm going to pay this agency to do this thing that they promised they could do and get this many clicks and this many follow-throughs and this many things. It's like, you might not have a marketing problem at all, but nobody knows how to zoom out and take a holistic look at the business and say, okay, which one of those 4 pillars is not talking to the other one? And maybe it's more than one. We're going to work on that. We're going to understand what's really going on in your business holistically in the ecosystem. And there's no space for that. One of the things I hear most often is, how do we generate more leads? Everybody's asking that. That's like the #1 question in business. How do you generate more leads? But are you prepared to handle the leads when they actually show up in your business? Like you were talking about, spending the time to tear it apart. Make sure it works. Make sure this system and this process and these employees are wearing the right hats and doing the right thing. That's so important. Because if your marketing and your sales deliver and your ops kicks in and we're like, we don't know what we're doing, you're going to get bad reviews. You're going to get clients leaving. Your business is going to suffer massively. So maybe you reinvested the money into that. And you're like, well, that didn't really increase sales. No, it didn't. But it did increase your ability to scale and grow on a, to a healthier extent than you would have if you had neglected those things. And most of the time, it's the deliverable portion that a lot of companies neglect, because they're like, we'll pay to expand when we get the business coming in. And there's a balance, because I've heard it the other way, like, I'm going to build an army that can create this thing in the other direction, and I'll be good to go. It's like, that doesn't always work that way either, because now you're too heavy in the ops side. So everything's at a balance. And people aren't taking into consideration the specific needs of your company. And sometimes reinvestment is growth, just because your revenues aren't increasing.
Right? Yeah.
You're preparing for the next phase.
That's what we focused on heavily in our second year. So that even though on paper it looked like shit, and it was, what I was building was what really helped us in our third year, which is having the processes and systems through trial and error. And that's what I was going to say a while ago when I said, don't get me wrong. I still built what we have now because of that second year. And sometimes you do have to go at it on your own. It's not like I wasn't looking for people. I just couldn't find the right people. And I don't know if it was because I wasn't manifesting and I wasn't visualizing. I don't know, maybe, but
yeah. That's a whole other tangent. And I'm not anti it. I'm not advocating for it, but yeah, you're not keeping I was literally just saying this earlier today. You're not keeping your positive mindset up enough. It's like, you can't always have a positive mindset. You have to realize that sometimes it just feels like shit. And acknowledging that and letting that flow through sometimes is one of the most important things you can do. But people are like, well, you didn't keep your vibrations up. There's something to the whole energetics of everything, I believe. But
Me too.
at the same time, you can't keep a positive. That's like saying get up at 4 a.m. and take that ice bath and make your gourmet breakfast and work out for 3 hours straight every morning. And it's like, sure, those things might be really healthy, but you can't always achieve that level. Just like you can't always stay positive when it looks like everything's on fire. And sometimes shitty things just happen.
Yeah. And I think also I do believe in all of that too, like the energy, the vibrations, the visualizations, writing it down. But I also think that sometimes you do have to go through certain things to get there, right? Like it's not just like you write it down tomorrow, it's on your in the front of your doorstep. But I do think sometimes, yeah, it does go fast. Like, I do think that there is something to that. But because Heather, the one that I told you about that does the biz buzz, she asked me that question, and one of the things that I told her, not for the visualization of things, but just for like the hardships of things, it's like even if you do go through it on your own, just know that because she asked like what would be my advice, and I said if you can find somebody to do it with you, do it, right? Like that should be one of the things that you do seek out, are people who, even if it's just a conversation. That's why we're doing this right now. This conversation in of itself, yes, it's for content, but really, honestly, I look forward to it so much because I don't feel like I have to do it alone. Like I feel like I can just talk to somebody who understands what it is to be a business owner and what it means to be in the branding and marketing space, which is a whole nother different section of like the entrepreneurship like cycle kind of thing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and I think, like there is that, but I also told her that if you end up doing it on your own, don't do it because you're stubborn and you have to. Like I said, I seeked out people. I just couldn't find the right people, not the way I'm finding them right now. And like I said, maybe it's just because I didn't write that down. Maybe I didn't journal it correctly. Maybe I didn't ask for it, right? But it was what I would have wanted if I were to look back on it. But I'm also really proud of myself for the way that I've done it. Like it's like that second year was so hard, and I'm sure I'm gonna have more years that are gonna be hard too. The third year right now is great, so that's good. But it's like, don't think that like you're a failure either for just like having a space where it's nothing's working. Like at the end of it, you are going to figure it out, whether you're on your own or with somebody else. You're just going to figure it out faster with somebody else, and you're going to feel a
Mhm.
lot less alone when you're with somebody else. But if you're going through it alone and you've tried to find people or whatever, and it just seems like the path is just you, that's also okay. But just know that like you're going to come out of it eventually. Like don't think that you are such a failure for like just not having what other people have, because I used to compare also. I used to say, how come they can
Yeah.
figure it out and I can't? And the thing is like they just didn't tell you that they couldn't figure it out. They just didn't tell you that like these were the things that they did to get there. They just hide that part of the story and just say, oh look, suddenly like I am here. And it's like, okay, like, but what did you do before that? And even before that, like, even like your failed businesses, it's not just like what you've done before. Like, even in our first year, like I said, everything went great. But if I told you all of the freelancing gigs that I had to take to get to that first year and the bridge that I burnt to get to that, like, I literally let go of all of my freelancing clients before I started the agency. People said, why not just keep one, just so you have like cash flow coming in, which was maybe really stupid. But I said, no, like I know who I want to serve. It's not any of the people that I'm serving right now. I'm doing a bunch of other, I was doing like copywriting for a website. I was doing copywriting for Airbnb. I was doing social media management for content creators, for thought leaders. I mean, I was just like, none of these people are who I want to serve. I knew exactly who I didn't want to serve. And they were every single person that was on my roster as a freelancer. And so I said, you know what? I trust myself. And so, but the thing is, like, I could just say, oh, my first year as an agency, we landed, like, but I went through all these things that I went through as a freelancer to get to that first year. So I just wish people would tell more of their stories and not be so ashamed to say, you know what,
Mhm.
like, like we weren't successful, like we weren't this or we weren't that, or even just like in my freelancing days, I landed on Upwork. It's really hard to land any client to begin with, but I landed,
Oh, so hard.
sorry,
So hard to land work on Upwork. So
it
hard.
is. And I landed my first two clients that I pitched. Like the first two clients that I pitched, I landed. Obviously, that's something that I'm very proud of, but I also had a lot of coaching from somebody who has been on Upwork for a long time. So it's like, I think like with every single thing that, and that's the thing also, if someone asked me how to do that, I would just give it to them for free. That's the thing also, is like, I think people sell so much proprietary knowledge. It's like, it's not competing with you. And like, it's like, sometimes I think we just need to be able to say, these are the things that I did to be able to land. I actually have a really good Upwork profile. A lot of people ask me how I get leads. It's also Upwork because I have such a good profile. But I also know how to talk to people. I also know how to land those clients. I also know what I had to say and what I had to do to get there. And that's the thing, like, even if you give out the information, not everybody's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And also I think there's just a thing of like, as you talked about competition a while ago, like even if like I have somebody, um, they're social media managers, because I actually do a lot of social media agencies as well, because the niche that you focus in is also very different. Like there's so many people that I've met who does social media, but they do it for thought leaders. There's social media who do it for brick and mortar businesses that I don't want to do because I don't want to shoot products. Social media that does it for e-commerce. I don't want to do that. So even though like you're in, like, even though we're kind of actually in different industries, if you think about it, we're in vertical, but we're not in that same space. But even people in the same space as me, I just don't see competition. Like I just don't see, because sometimes it's just the right fit of personality too. And everybody has different personalities. And sometimes I just want to work with clients who fit me also, like who fit our team and team that I'm building, versus like, okay, you're not that, like, let me send you to somebody else. So I don't really know where I was going with any of that, but I just wanted to say all of it.
No, it makes sense because we're all in different spaces. You know, I always use plumbers as an example. Like, oh, I'm a plumber, so I'm competing with other plumbing companies. Well, yes and no. And so I've had clients who are literally in the plumbing space, and they're like, well, we need to figure out how to drive more leads and increase revenues. I'm like, okay, buy products. Let's talk about what's really going on. I'm like, if you go to your marketing agency right now and say you want to increase your marketing, what are you going to tell them? Bring us more leads for plumbing. I said, did you tell them what kind of plumbing you do? Are you in commercial, high-rise industrial spaces, or is it residential, multifamily? Is it new construction only? Is it service calls, pre-existing homes? What is it? Like, there could probably be 20 or more different categories of plumbing. And so they're like, no, just bring us leads. It's like, your agency isn't going to know what to do with you. And also, I could have two clients that are in plumbing in two different geographical areas, right? Because I don't work in competing markets. But they're not the same company. They're different business owners. They have different goals. They work in a different vertical. One's, one of the categories I mentioned, one's another. They are not even the same business. Plumbing is what they do. It's not the business they're building.
Yeah.
Right? It's the service and the product they offer. So like you're talking about, it makes perfect sense, but you're talking about social media. Yeah, we're all in the same social media vertical, but you're not. Social media is the arena you're in. It's the, it's the label, it's the platform. Just like if somebody was to say I'm in plumbing, great, but I do this with it. Like for me, people are like, you're a consultant. I'm like, I am, but I'm also not, because I don't do it. Like I don't just show up and give you a bunch of homework and tell you what's wrong with your company and trap you for 8 hours scribbling on my whiteboard and then tell you, here's everything that's wrong with your company and here's what's going to happen to fix it. This is the system that I shove everybody through and it worked for your neighbors. So, you get, I'm not that. I'm the conversation that we're having. Let's take a holistic look at your business. What's working? What's not working? What problems are you having? Let's look at why you're having those problems. Let's break down the layers and see if we can find the symptom, because it's usually not what we think it is. Then let's connect the pieces we need to connect and build the thing that you're trying to build, not what somebody else said you should build, not what you think you should build based on comparing to somebody else. What are you trying to build in this space? And so when I talk about brand and identity, people are like, oh, you're in branding. I'm like, I'm actually not. I work with your brand, I enhance your brand, I bring clarity to your brand, but I work with you to do that. And so people are like, oh, well, that like falls into marketing. I'm like, no, it actually doesn't. Again, I work with your marketing agency. I work with those people to enhance. But I'm realizing like this is a pitfall of mine. I'm like, oh, I haven't been very clear about that with other agencies. So marketers will be like, oh, you're in the creative space, you're competing with us. I'm like, not at all. Believe it or not, not at all. In fact, I want to make your job easier. I want to make it smoother for you. Here's my goals for the client, and it's to be somebody that helps work with them, to bring the perspective, to bring the clarity, to be a sounding board, to collaborate with them on what they're doing. And I know I've told you about the collab, but that's like you were talking about, like, where does the space exist where we can talk to each other in this? That's why I created the collab, because there isn't too many spaces that exist where we can be honest, show up, share opinions, say, this was my struggle, this is what I did to fix it. Not judgmental, like, I'm going to give you advice on how to do it.
Mhm.
But hey, let's talk about it in a space, and let's talk about what we're not able to talk about on forums, what we're not able to talk about in other business groups. You sure as heck can't talk about it in most networking spaces, because we're trying to put our best foot forward and we want to look and show up and feel and sound completely competent. It's not that space. It's a space where it's like, I need clarity. I need to be able to admit what's not working. I need to talk about the wins and talk about the losses and see if anybody else has got any ideas. I need to get clear on what I'm building, why I'm building it, and gain some perspective so that I can better inform my next decision on how I'm building it. So we don't talk about that. And it's so valuable. And I don't care what industry you're in. It's so valuable in business because under every single business is the humanity that drives that business, whether it's your clients, your employees, or upper management, whatever, the owner. Maybe you're a solopreneur, that's fine too. It still matters. It's all human to human interactions. So we talk about business like it's numbers and metrics and things on a page that are just completely removed from having thoughts, the 1,000 decisions, the fog that comes with being an entrepreneur, the lack of clarity, the needing perspective, right? Yes, figures and metrics can help inform those things, but only if you have them in the first place. You
Yeah.
only get a lot of those things from collaborating with other human beings.
Yeah. And that's the thing as well. I think even when I started my business, as soon as I started hiring people, I was like, oh my gosh, like the people matters a lot. Like I knew it, but didn't realize how much. Like I didn't realize, and maybe that's why some people want to go for the solopreneur route, which there is that route, especially with the new AI technologies. I think people brag a little bit too much about how you can have like $1 million businesses as a solopreneur. But the thing is, there's still the fact that it gets lonely. Like there's still the fact that you will have to make decisions that you don't know if it's the right one. And even if you're talking to somebody, you may not know if it's the right one, but you get better clarity out of it. Like even like the partnership deal that I've talked to you about, right? Like talking to you. I talked to a friend about it last night as well, because he does a lot of deals also. And I'm just like, wow, like even just talking to somebody about it casually, like over dinner, I didn't even know I was going to talk to him about it. We just started talking about certain things and it led to that. But it was just like, wow, like I have so much more clarity about it rather than just like in the beginning where I'm just like, okay, like maybe I hire a lawyer. I know for sure I was gonna hire a lawyer, but I was just like, okay, like I have a lawyer and that's it. Like there was no other sounding board, and you have zero idea what you're doing. And I think some people are also so afraid to say, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I think people are so afraid to say, yeah, like it's like, oh, I've never seen that before. I don't know what that means. Like I think people are just so afraid to say oh, like we didn't know that. Like I didn't know that as part of this business. Like they think that they started a business and they're an expert on this one thing, that they're supposed to be an expert in hiring, they're supposed to be an expert in time management, they're supposed to be an expert in marketing and sales. Like I'm a marketer. I'm not that well versed in sales. Like our sales, we don't have a sales funnel. Like you know what I mean? It's like a lot of people think, oh, like you're a marketer and like, oh, you don't have a sales.
Marketing and sales are two different things. Again, everybody's blurred the lines of business. Like, oh, you're a marketer, so you build out sales funnels. That's sales. Your marketing has to connect to a sales funnel, but that's sales. That's maybe you do both, but okay, it's fine if you don't, because you don't have to do both.
Yeah.
I mean, you need all the components running well in your business, but that doesn't mean that oh my gosh.
I mean, I feel like we could talk about this topic for a very long time. And I do think the next time we should bring somebody, let's pick someone from SEN if we can agree on a person, to maybe see if we can do like a 3%. That could be like a really good segue for us. It could be at the beginning of the year, since everybody's gearing up for the holidays. But I mean, I could literally talk about this topic probably for like the whole day and it wouldn't even be enough. So
yeah, no, that's fair, and it's so true, because there's so much. It's lonely. Like you said, entrepreneurship is super lonely. Even though you're dealing with people all day long, you're like, how's it lonely? You're working, you're dealing with your team, you're dealing with clients, oh, if you're the business owner or upper level management even, it's a lonely space.
it's
And people are not talking about that. And It's a lonely space, and it's like an echo void where you're just like, it's me in my head, and I'm having to make. It's not for most of us, it's not life or death, but we could be making life-altering decisions quickly at a very fast pace, and we're living inside our head, going, I hope this is right, because it's just me in here, and I'm trying to figure out how to execute and be effective. On top of that, we don't always know what's effective,
Yeah.
and so we think we have to know everything up front, right? And it's like, where did we get that concept? And so traditional education, right, builds on every grade before it, theoretically. I won't
Yeah.
launch into any of that, but theoretically it builds on every grade before it, right? So in kindergarten, you're not expected to know anything because preschool doesn't count. Right? But you're not really expected to know a whole lot of anything. You start with the basics and you build on it from there. But in entrepreneurship, we're so afraid to say, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. This hasn't come up yet in my journey. I haven't learned this. And people are like, oh, you haven't learned that by now? Oh, wow. That's embarrassing. It's like, whoa. Because everybody's journey is a little bit different, and it doesn't build layer after layer like traditional education should or does. So we're all learning at different paces and at different rates. I've talked to people who don't have revenue problems, but they're like, this thing's a dumpster fire. It's running off the rails constantly, and I can't figure out how to get it where I need it. And it's like, well, revenues, not a problem. We've got that locked in. It's this, and this is the problem, and we don't know what's wrong with it. It's like everybody has a problem with something.
Yeah.
And somebody else's problem doesn't mean that you've got it wrong, or somebody else's success doesn't mean that you got it wrong, I mean to say. We all have strengths and weaknesses. You know, it's like that. One of my favorite Einstein quotes is, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will go its entire life thinking that it's stupid.
Yeah.
We're all running around, and the internet is a mass void of everybody doing that to each other. Some not everybody. A lot of people are, though.
A lot of people.
In this, we'll just stop sucking at your business and be successful. It's like, thanks. That was the push I needed. So much clarity now.
And I think also you said the word suck, and there's one thing that I agree with. I think Alex Ramosi says that he could have gone it from somebody else, which is like fail fast, you know, and it could have been Steve Jobs as well, but it's just like, how fast can you fail? Sorry?
A lot of people have said that. A lot of successful people said that.
Yeah, exactly. And how many times can you fail, and how much can you, and the thing is, you said the word suck, right? It's like, how can you suck? Like, I think there's a merit to like people saying, okay, like, not a merit, sorry. I think people say all the time, it's like, why aren't you going fast enough, or why are you failing at these things? But the thing is, it's those failures that actually get you to where you're going. And so I think people have made it so that, like, the word comfort, and let's just take the word comfort and the word failure. Comfort actually feels really good, right? As a kid, you think comfort is great, but actually as an adult, it's what pushes you forward. And same with like going out of your comfort zone is what pushes you forward, not comfort. And same with failure. People think it's a bad word. It's actually a really good word. And so it's like, there are certain things in our society that gets deemed as bad, but it's good. And there are things in our society that is good that can be bad for you as well. And so I think there's just like a reorganization of those words as well. I think failure should be regarded as something higher. And I think, don't get me started on traditional schooling, because we will have another.
That's a conversation we can have another time. I probably shouldn't have even, but just using it as a broad archetype, like, okay, one grade builds on another. I'll say that far.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we could talk about traditional schooling on a whole nother level, because like a lot of what stems now of who we are is based off of that. And I was very good in school, like graduated top of my school, but to get there, you have to do things that are always inside of the box. And I think people are so afraid to think outside of the box sometimes because of what they were given when they were younger, that it's like, but that's the way that you do get to success. But when you think outside of the box, when you color outside of the lines, right, you fail a lot, or it looks like failure. But it's really how you learn. And so I do think I'm going to end there, because I do want to go over the content calendar with you again. I just want to go over it really quickly, and then the banner. And then we can decide on our next topic as well. But this one will be to be continued, because it's such a good topic, and I think we should bring somebody in just to see what it's like to have like a 3-person conversation.
Oh, I agree. I agree. And this is something I could go off on for a while. And that's something that because I used to work for Magnolia
Mm-hmm.
company out of Waco and they're really big on customer experience and they're really big on understanding who you are and what you do. But that was one of their models as well. Fail fast. Fail fast, and so that we can figure out what works. And they are they are living examples of that as well in their own empire that they built. They built a lot of things because something didn't work. It wasn't that they built it because they wanted to fix a problem. It was like, oh, it was actually built out of screwing it up that turned into something that was like, oh, I didn't see this coming. And so sometimes there's so much opportunity in that. There's an inverse, and I don't know if I should publish any of this, but the silos that are now world famous, Waco, Texas, people fly in internationally to see it. Several people wanted to buy that property, and the city was trying to offload it because it was an old industrial piece of property. And they would look at the cost of renovations, to clean it up, to paint it, to do all of the things, and they're like, this just isn't worth the investment, and they passed on it. And they asked Chip, and Chip was like, and I'm paraphrasing, this isn't for fact, but he was like, is it okay if I don't paint those? You know, because of the whole whatever. He's like, because I'm not going to paint it. In fact, he leaned the other way because it was so old industrial and so derelict and so rusty that it totally fit the brand. And they're like, this is what we're going to do with this. And their vision was the opposite. Everybody else was trying to figure out what the cost of renovations was going to be and how to make it work at the standard level. And he was like, no, we're going in. They were like, no, we have a vision for this to go in the opposite direction. And that is what part of what made that whole site so successful. And don't get me wrong, they put tons of renovations into the site and brought up the value of that entire section of the city. But it's sometimes working in what other people consider the negative space and seeing the opportunity in it and going, no, I'm not going to paint any of that. In fact, rust is totally on brand, and we're going to do this, this, and this as well. And that is the opportunity. I think we missed out a lot because of a lot of conventional teachings.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, different topic for a different day.
No, I mean, even it does go even with this. It's like taking huge swings. I mean, I'm just gonna go high level, taking huge swings, and then just like I think people don't see that entrepreneurs take such big swings. Sometimes like it could have worked against them too. Like going into that, like how everybody else thinks here and you're thinking in this way, it could also go against you. But the thing is you tried, you failed, you learned, you try it again. Right. So there's so much about this. Like we could definitely talk about this forever. So let's go over your just one thing really, really quickly, and then I'll go over your content calendar and then we can schedule. What did you think of this?
I like it. I mean, it matches the branding on my website. I never got back to you on this. I realized you sent me that message over the weekend, and I remember seeing it, and then I was like, oh shoot, I never replied.
You're good. You're good. I just want to know if you wanted to change something.
I like it. What do you think about making the logo slightly bigger? Any thoughts on that? Or is that not a thing? You tell me what the typical
Usually I wouldn't make it
social
that
platform.
big on a personal, but I mean it's your preference, so we can make it bigger if you want.
I'll leave it. No, I think it's cool.
Because usually
No, I like it.
you want, and the thing is your profile's not optimized anyway. So
No.
we need to optimize that too. I was thinking for next week, let me know what you think. I was thinking of doing a hot seat on your LinkedIn. So before you change anything, obviously you're gonna change your banner because of or I mean you don't have to, it's up to you, or you can change it back. Because I want to use this one for the educational moment this week, like this Wednesday. So I just want to show it to everybody, but I can also just show it to them without it going on your profile. But I do want to do like a hot seat for your LinkedIn, and then also just like maybe have the content calendar ready. I'm also gonna tell you there's deadlines on these. It's not an intended deadline, but because of the way that it like Opus works, because we downloaded it quite a while back. You'll see here on my notes, Opus Clip expires 14th of December. This one's on the 10th. This one's on the 14th. So you kind of need to do it before then.
Gotcha.
The reason I gave you the Opus Clip is because if you wanted to like change it yourself. I thought I changed the color on this. Pretty sure I did. But basically, like as long as you sign up for Opus, even if it's a free one, because I tested it out on another thing. You can actually, like, I think edit it yourself and then export it yourself. We can also export it, but the thing is, once we export, that's what you're getting. Especially once you expire, like it won't do it. Sometimes it's a bit slow to load. But like some of them, like if you don't like the way that the captions are written, or you wanted to like delete something else, you can easily do it. Like here, if you go like this, you can remove the caption and video, which is like an easy way to just like cut things off. Mostly because I left it that way because I don't know what your preferences are. So I don't know what you want it to look like. But you will have to do it before the 10th, at least for this one video. The rest is the 14th. But if you're gonna sit down and do it anyway. And then once you're good to go, just download it. But that's why I wanted to show it to you. And then I'll also critique the text. Basically, like I put a few notes here of like what it would be, but the caption actually on LinkedIn is like the most important thing, to be really honest with you. That's why text also works. Like if you produce like a text only version of things, it works really, really, really well. Because the words matter more than anything else. This is why I didn't write it for you, because I wanted it to really sound like you. But that's something that we can do. So like obviously you can write out the 9th, and if you, because this one we already downloaded it because it was already in the drive. So this one, I think you've already seen this one. So if you want to do that, and then we can post them, and then from there, I think December 11th is, well, so this week. So if you want, like, you can do those two, and then from here I can critique it, or we can move the date so that it can go into the hot seat.
Okay. So just to recap, I need to get in there, make sure the Opus clip works for what I want and how I want, edit the captions, and then export it before that just goes away, right?
Yeah, before the 10th.
Then,
yeah. And then write it out, and then we can either move the dates so that you have my input for next week, or you can just release it and then I can give inputs for after. It's up to you.
Okay. Then that sounds good. And then I do want to get in there and tear apart my LinkedIn sooner than later. So yeah. Whatever we want to do, if you want to like pre-record something or use it for like you said, the teach moment, I'm totally fine with that.
Well, the teach is just the banner. The teach that I'm doing, so I did it for you. I did it for Steven, and I was gonna do it for Michael, that I was having a hard time redoing his. I already have Steven's up, or Steven already put his up. I don't know if you've seen it since I was having such a hard time with it, but it's this one. He was happy with it. So, and I also redid his this, but that's not part of the teach. I just want to show people like what's a good banner versus like what's not a good banner, basically.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it's a 3-minute teach, so I can't talk about like a whole thing. But I would love to do like a full, because even for him, it's like it could use work, but yours could really use work. So basically, in the hot seat, I would talk about this, which I already know you know about that one, but I would also talk about your company page. I would talk about, I think this one's fine, actually. I don't know why my laptop is doing that. It's weird.
I actually get a lot of info about the whole duct tape thing. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
Which one?
That line, right there, my banners, my what is that statement called? Above the about. Strategy plus business therapy.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about this from your perspective as well. So it doesn't have to be just a hot seat where I'm telling you what to do. We could also go at it from a perspective of you're doing your own brand audit. Because I'm going to go about with the fact that like we actually don't help with this. Like, I don't know how I ended up doing it for him. Like we do it for company pages, but a lot of the companies that really come to us really are very clear on who they are. Like it's actually quite insane, but also because they have one specific offer. When you have one specific offer, it is so easy to say, this is what I fucking do. Like there's nothing else really, right? Like it's this. Whereas like if you can serve a broad audience, it's harder. But that's something that we can do, because then you can give your own take on it, and maybe it'll help you with your rebranding as well. So it's almost like a, I don't know. I think we can also talk about like why it's the hardest to do your own brand. Like even for me, like you can even critique mine if you want. So it can just be like a hot seat for like social media, like LinkedIn page specifically, like LinkedIn profiles, and the messaging. Because you can also critique mine. Like it can also be like a semi-second hot seat, because it's like, do you think I'm saying the right things? Like this banner, I don't know if it's right or wrong. Like it just sounded good. But
No, I actually like that opening line. Most content gets ignored. Make your stick.
aw,
I don't know if you've ever read the book Made to Stick.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
been
had
a
a
while.
feeling.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I've read it. I need to
yeah.
pick it back up again. But yeah, I mean, you don't obviously have to do mine if you don't want to, because it's gonna hyper focus on yours. But it's like, I can also tell you from my perspective, like what do our clients really have? Like, why is it that they're able to be so clear about things? Whereas like, why is it so hard to do our own thing? Like for me, it took us 3 years. To have that, it took us 3 years. If you look at our page right now, like if you look at the sticky post page, it's like there's like we just started posting on it, and I don't know why this is going so slowly. But even like, it's like what just makes like a good featured page? How do you design it? And then I'm gonna tell you how you're gonna design yours specifically. But even here, it's like we literally just started it. It's like 16 followers. And also like I also want to emphasize, like if you just like take this screenshot, it's so deceptive. Like if I take out
Hmm.
that, right? And people are always just like, oh, I grew my search appearances by 1,500%. Well, where the fuck was it before? Like, I think people are so, like, there's so many ways to manipulate.
Yeah,
Like,
like I said, like we break down the metrics and we're like, this is what it is. This is what it looks like. It's like, no, stop it.
but there's barely
That's
anything
true.
here. So, but I am also growing it organically. I actually don't tell people that this page exists. I want it to grow organically the way that we do it for our clients, which will show you that to grow a company LinkedIn page takes years. It's not because it's the reach just isn't there, and you have to realize I'm doing video on here. Like I'm actually doing
Yeah.
almost all of our posts are videos, or carousels. Like I actually put in a lot more work into this, more than my own. I don't know. There's the video. That's a video. That's a video. So I actually, most of the videos that we're doing are also gonna go in here, although I am gonna release it on some of mine. But yeah, like it is much harder to grow. But I mean, like for a company page that has, 16 followers, this is really looking good.
Yeah.
um, but no, yeah, it's very new. So we can also talk about lean a little bit into that. But I do want to do your hot seat, because I do want to kind of set up your page so that when you are posting, your page is very ready and it looks professional. Even if you are still working on your branding, at least you have like the majority of it, because like this is, and you have,
Mhm.
I don't know if you're gonna keep this, but you are so wasting this. So if you're gonna keep it, let's at least use it, put it to good use.
Yeah, I'm actually using it because right now I'm doing a lot of cold outreach, like direct DMs, which
Okay.
currently LinkedIn has done away with if you just have the free account.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I am grandfathered in on the pricing. When you were like $100 a month, I was like, that's not even worth it. I'm not. I got it back when it was 30 something a month. So
What? Uh,
yeah, or maybe 45 a month. I don't know what it is, but it's like, yeah, we'll say 45. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna hang on to it for a little while because I'm currently doing some guerrilla cold campaigns, but
okay. But we can make use of it, because on
that's the
LinkedIn,
only reason.
you can
That's the
have
only
like,
reason I haven't. Otherwise, everything else, I'm like, forget it.
well, LinkedIn Premium also gives you extra things for your page, for your profile. So you can have the banner, like a moving banner. You can have a call to action here, which everybody was looking for, but they couldn't get it. There's just some things that you can do on a LinkedIn Premium profile that you can't do with a regular profile. So it's not really that many. That's why I never got it. But let's at least use that. Like, let's clean this up. And then that way, as you're posting, this looks really, really good. And then you can just change it later when you have your branding. But it also, I think, help you with your branding. Like it'll also help people see how you think through things. And maybe it's also a good idea to have content of just like your behind the scenes for how you rebranded and how you like do the steps for your own self too. So we can cover all of that in this one piece. And the benefit for me would be just really helping you out with this. And I'm also going to do a hot seat on this. So you would have to have this filled out, and then just basically I would just give you pointers on the way that you're writing as well.
Cool. Yeah, that works for me. Let's do it.
Okay, perfect. When are you good? And I think next week will be my last one because I definitely want to take a break for the weeks of December and like Christmas and New Year.
Yeah. No, that's cool. In fact, I'm booked next Monday, so it could be good. Yikes, Tuesday's looking kind of
Booked as well.
Tuesday's kind of booked as well. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't even know what time these are. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have some early mornings next week.
Do you want
booked
to
out
just
my schedule for Buenos time.
wait? You're gone this weekend, right? Or this?
Yeah. I'm back in the States as of like the week of the 15th. I'll be back in the States.
Oh, nice. Are you guys just here for the holidays?
Till March, and then figuring it out from there. So yes and no.
I can show you my calendar. So everything is a meeting, like all of these. These are my availability.
Let me see. Oh, there we go.
But some of these can be moved. So if Thursday is better for you, like it just needs to happen, but I can move. Most of these are team meetings.
Yeah, Wednesday's looking pretty good for me. So why don't you throw something out that works for you on Wednesday? I think I'm pretty open actually on the 17th. If we want to do it then. I mean, I gotta work around SEN, but SEN's gonna be at 7 a.m. for me.
No, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. You're in PST.
Maybe it won't be.
Are you in PST?
No, it will be.
Yeah, because it's 9 a.m. for me. So you would have to be PST time zone.
Yeah, it would be PST.
Ooh, that sucks. Are you free in the afternoon, or do you want me to move these meetings so we can, do you just want to do
I'll be wide open in the afternoon. Like I said, I'm gonna have to slowly migrate my schedule to PST because it's just gonna suck for the next several weeks.
Okay. Afternoon PST or
yeah. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, it's wide open. So whatever works for you on that, just send me an invite. And if for some reason
I'll do noon PST. Is that good?
Okay. Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay. If you need it later, let me know.
Okay. No, it should be good, but I'll keep you posted.
Okay, perfect. So I'll send it for next Wednesday. Well, let's make it noon 30, so 12:30 PST. That way you get a little bit, because it's like I'm just 2 hours ahead of you. And I usually try to cut off my meetings in the afternoon because I'm literally just in meetings all day long. Also, like I don't even know how it happened. I'm just literally like in just meetings. It's insane.
My next couple of weeks, I didn't realize how ugly that was looking. And then I realized I was like, oh, most of these are afternoon meetings. And I'm like, oh no, they're not, because I'm 5 hours ahead of where I'm gonna be. So they're gonna be bright and early morning meetings.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll do it in the afternoon, and then just make sure you fill out everything. Make sure you download the Opus clips before really the next couple of days. And then once you do it, just save it somewhere, and then you can release whatever you want, or you can adjust the timeline. That's up to you, if whether you want to wait or you want to release. You can do what you want. Just let me know what you end up deciding before the hot stop, so I know what to critique on.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. It's all kind of a work in progress. I'm probably not going to get to any of it in the next 2 days, so even though I want to. So I'll get the Opus clips figured out, just because I know there's deadlines on that. But yeah, I'll have to make some adjustments because then I'm in the air Thursday and Friday all day.
Okay. Well, if you don't, I mean,
and then to the States, then to Dallas, then to PDX, and then I'm driving for the next 2 days after that.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, I can also download them, but just know once we download them, that's what you're getting.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So I can also
No,
take a
all
look
we
at
do.
it if you haven't done it yet, and then I'll just download it, replace it, and then you can, and then in January we can just structure it to see what you want it to be. I'm just kind of doing it the way that we would do it, not for a client. So this is more like I'm just kind of piecemealing it the same way that I do my own. So but other than that, if you have any preference, just let me know. I'm super flexible. I just don't want to spend like a lot of time on it. That's where I'm at, because I am
Totally fair.
actually spending my own time on it. Like if my team is not doing it, it's me. And yeah, like I'm just not willing to spend that much time. I barely spend time on my own, and I'm actually spending a lot of time right now. So but I'm more than happy to just do it in tandem, because I have to do mine anyway before it expires. I actually haven't downloaded any of mine. I've actually focused on yours and mostly focusing on pictures on mine. And then we have our own content for the sticky post.social. So I actually haven't downloaded any of ours. So I'm gonna do that. So while I'm doing that, I might just download the ones that are there with yours and then call it a day. I just hope you're happy with them.
I'll get in there and take a look. I'm sure it will be good, but I'll get in there and take a look tonight or tomorrow. It's 4:45 now. I got a couple more meetings I got to jump on, and then I'll take a look probably later this evening and
Okay.
get it figured out from there. So,
Sounds good.
all
Well,
right.
thank you. I'll send you the invite
Perfect.
and see you Wednesday.
Good. See you soon. Thanks, Clarisse.
Bye.
Bye.